Hello, and welcome once again to the Dental Marketing Mastery Series. This podcast is brought to you by New Patients Incorporated and NPIClick.com. I'm Howie Horrocks, the founder of New Patients Incorporated. Along with me once again is my friend and partner and the president of New Patients Incorporated, Mark Dilatush.
Hello, everybody. Welcome once again to our podcast. We love having you guys and gals out there. I got me, this Howie Horrocks in Vegas, and I got my buddy and partner out there in New Jersey, Mark Dilatush. How you doing, Mark?
I'm doing fine, Howie. We're a little wet out here in the Northeast.
Really?
Yes. Noah came by, biblical Noah, and he said, yeah, I'm done. I'm out. I can't handle this rain. So
Too much for Noah.
Too much for Noah, right.
Oh my gosh.
So what are we doing today? I this came from the mailbag. I think it was a combination of several hundred mailbag comments, emails, what have you, Facebook posts that I know dentists struggle, or some of them struggle with all the details of managing this aspect of their marketing. So we figured we would make a podcast out of it.
Yeah. We're calling it Love Your Website Again. You used to love it.
To anyone who's been married, you get the inference there. All right, so
yeah,
when the website is all shiny and new, everybody loves their website, and over time, it just begins to get aged, right?
Dingy.
And dated. Yeah. It's like Formica, on your counters. Yeah. And and also there's innovation. There's new tools to build websites these days, and those new tools are more efficient, and those new tools allow you to do many more tasks, from a website and an internet marketing standpoint. And those tools weren't available a year ago. And then there's the whole, Google changed their mind for the 2017th time. And they think this over here is important this week, right? So, those new tools and the innovation that happens in our industry allows us to take advantage of, Google changing their mind this week. So, the reason why we're bringing this up is because dentists tend to stress, or at least they come to some point of stress over their website after it's built. In other words, when it's built, they're all excited. I got my new website. Look, Mom, here's the URL. And, it's nice. And everybody's happy. And the staff loves it. And everything's nice and fresh and new. But over time, the details of owning, operating, managing a website, especially through a 20-year career, it can be kind of an overhead, right? And in a lot of cases, if it's a solo practitioner and they don't delegate this to someone else, either a marketing firm or I can't imagine a solo practitioner having a marketing person on staff, but whatever. But normally, if they don't delegate all these details to somebody else, they end up taking it on their own. And a lot of them are lost, missed, some of them in some case stolen, ignored, right?
Yeah.
So they become these, it's just like another 10 tasks that you have to deal with besides patient care, staff, management, and everything else that a dentist has to deal with. So what we wanted to do is we wanted to assemble all these things into a podcast and give you, how to love your website again. So there's the first step are the obvious things. We know the dentists that hate their website the most are the dentists who had their URL stolen by a nefarious website company. Okay. In other words, the URL they had was owned actually by the website company, and the website company says, well, I'll sell it back to you for whatever, $4,000. Actually, there was an example of this. I think it was on Dental Town recently. Anyway, yeah, I don't, it was like April or
just recently,
somewhere around there. Anyway. So that'll make a dentist hate their website instantly, right? If you steal their URL. Okay. So the lesson there is you, the dentist, always own your URL. But if you want to delegate the management of it, you make whoever you choose the admin. So they can't take away your URL, but they can pay attention when things need attention. And websites need attention. They need attention about as often as you power wash your deck. Okay. Once a year, or once every other year, depending on how many years you secured your domain for. So that's a detail.
Yeah, and Mark, that's a good point, because that's a detail that is easy to forget for the dentist. Because when that domain renewal comes up, and that's kind of like we're knocking on your door, you need to pay attention to this, and you don't, because maybe you think it's spam or you don't know what it's for or whatever, and then one day your website's missing, it's gone,
and you normally don't even know it for like 30 days. Okay, and it's usually a patient that walks in and goes, "Hey doc, did you know your website's down?" And then there's this mad scramble.
Yeah, so that's just one little detail that can completely wreck your month.
Right, exactly. Exactly. So now let's take that one classic example and let's expand upon it, because certainly our clients, we buy defensive domains.
Yeah.
So what's a defensive domain? A defensive domain would be yourtownsmiles.com. Let's say that's your main URL. We would want to purchase all the variations of that on behalf of our client, right? So there's not just one domain renewal. There might be 8, 12,
right,
16. Depends. It depends on how many we got from a defensive position standpoint. So those come in email notifications, and pretty soon the dentist gets kind of overwhelmed, right? So now that's just a URL. Now let's go to hosting. And most dentists don't understand what hosting is, and that's fine. You don't have to understand what hosting is. The only thing you really have to understand is that you're going to get a notice from your host that's going to say, well, time to renew your hosting, time to pay us, and blah, blah, blah. It happens either on a monthly or annual basis. Some of them will go 2 or 3 years. But that's another detail. And then recently, Google, again, they hiccuped and they said, well, we need everybody to have SSL on their websites, or they're going to mark them as unsecure so that the surfing public knows it could be insecure. So you need to add SSL to all your pages of your website. And of course, there's another detail. So how do I get that done? Who do I talk to? How fast will they get it done? So on and so forth, until pretty soon a dentist doesn't like their website anymore because there's so much of this. You know what it is? It's dental website minutia. It's just minutia. Yeah. Okay. It's you know what? It's like getting green pollen on your car right after you wash it. Right? But it keeps coming, right? Month after month, week after week, and you keep washing your damn car and it keeps turning green. So anyway, so you have that, and you have your domain renewals, and you have your SSLs, and you have all this crap, right? Those you have to deal with. And then about every time you change out your cell phone, I don't know what the exact stats are on cell phones. I think cell phones, somewhere around 30 to 34 months, people swap out their cell phones. And we will typically rebuild a client site about every 48 to 60 months, somewhere between 4 and 5 years. And we don't do it just because we can, and we don't do it just because it's business. That's kind of silly. Our job is to conserve marketing resources, not spend them. So we don't do it for those reasons. We do it because it keeps everything fresh, updated, most recent information, the right marketable attributes, the most popular marketable attributes, the conveniences, technologies, the highlights, online scheduling. Everything in the website is all up to date and all properly placed, all properly messaged and documented. About every, let's just say 4 years, about every 4 to 5 years, you should plan financially to replace your website, at least renew it and refresh it. You don't, let's face it, by the time you refresh and renew a website, you might as well just build a new one, right? So that, all those details, right? And rebuilding the site with the newest, latest, greatest dentistry, gallery pictures, staff, hours, services, amenities, everything. Dentistry your practice doesn't stay stagnant. Your practice is always evolving. If it's stagnant, you can't afford a website anyway. Okay? Because sooner or later you'll go out of business and you won't need a website, right? So then you'll really hate websites.
Yeah, but then you really hate websites.
Go ahead.
Let's Mark, this might be a good time for us to take a little break, and then we come back and
you got it.
Entertain our audience some more. All right, don't go away. We'll be right back.
What is NPI fusion marketing? Of course, fusion means the blending of two or more things to make one thing. In this case, we combine offline marketing with online marketing. We can put a marketing message into the prospective new patient's home and at the same time have that marketing message also appear on their Facebook feed. It's a wonderfully efficient way to double your marketing exposure. Check it out at npiclick.com.
Okay, we're learning how to fall in love with your website again.
Yeah, it's it's funny. You don't really know these things are going to happen until after you own it. It's sort of like the first time you owned a new car. You're like, great. I have a payment, but I have a brand new smelling car. And then invariably 40,000 miles hits and you need new brakes, new tires. You need all these new things. And website's not that much different. A website does need, I'm not going to say constant maintenance, but it does need maintenance, and it should be renewed or updated, or using the car analogy, a new lease should be about every 4 years. If you do that and you delegate all the mundane stuff, that's what, I don't make this commercial for what we do, but that's what we do. Our CMS is our customer satisfaction managers. That's what they do. They manage all the minutia that goes into, owning a website, keeping it up to date, adding the new information, new bios, new employees, new whatever, right? As they happen, almost in real time. And then, of course, your domain needs to be renewed. Fine. They do it. And if your host needs to be renewed, yep, fine, they do it. Same thing with your SSL. If that needs to be renewed or installed, yep, they do it. It's just something that you don't really have to be stressed over. So, because you should love your website all the time, not just the first 3 months when it's brand new. You should be able to look at your website and have a sense of pride in it, that it is the latest, greatest, it is updated. You don't really have to worry about it. You can be assured that your patients aren't going to be turned off by it. We're not going to put, bloody implant surgical sites on the front page of your website. So
even if you want us to, we won't.
Yeah, we've been asked to, but we don't do that stuff. But
here, hold my beer while I go put a bloody implant site.
I can send you to literally thousands of dental URLs that have them. but anyway, so that's the first real big set of steps to loving your website, always loving your website, is just have somebody else handle all the minutia so that you don't have to, and have somebody else there to update it as those updates come in, because, we can't make stuff up. When you have an update, email it over to us. We'll just go in and update your website. Anyway, so that's a great way to love your website. And then the remaining way to love your website is to know what you get from it, which is a really good way to love your website forever, right? Is to know, wait a second.
Yeah.
I see the numbers in my analytics report. I can physically see that these people came to my website, which page they clicked. But you know what? I can't see what it generated for me. I can only see in analytics, like traffic. I can't really see if it created anything. So
you can't see revenue.
Well,
right?
yeah, you can see a call. You can see a traffic. Like I know when somebody comes into our website, for instance, right? Same thing with a dental website. But once you install the call tracking and the dashboard in, and you start getting calls, and the call say existing customer, existing patient, and then the call says social media, or the call says organic search, or the call says Google business page. Then you're looking at your dashboard going, oh, now I really love my website. Look what it's doing for me. Right?
Yeah.
Does that make sense now? Okay. So if you remove all this, or not all the stresses, but dental websites really shouldn't be stressful. They really shouldn't. They should be here's how you think about your website. Your website is a storefront on Main Street. It is, everyone passes by or searches, and when they search down the street, they see your window front. They go to your storefront, which is basically your homepage. And if it looks inviting enough, i.e., the main navigations at the top probably of your webpage, if it looks inviting, maybe it has some inviting window treatments in those front windows. Maybe it's a video, maybe it's a picture of the dentist, maybe it's a picture of the dentist with their family, posed properly. Whatever it is, as long as it looks inviting and the main navs are proper, then they'll come in. And they normally come in through Meet the Doctor. So once they meet the doctor, they'll go from there through to things that they may or may not be interested in. And that changes from potential patient to potential patient. Anyway, the point is that your website is your storefront to the internet world. Not only the internet world, but the offline world. If you're doing any kind of offline, let's say you're doing, mail. Let's say you're doing a mail campaign. Well, we know statistically that 35% of the people that actually act off of that mail campaign call the number on the mailer. The rest of them go to your website and interact there and call from your website. Wouldn't that be cool if you could see that in a dashboard?
Yeah.
That would really be cool, right?
Yeah, that would prevent you from perhaps being disappointed in your mailer results and thinking that every call you're getting is coming from the website. I mean, we've seen that over and over again.
Yeah, literally, tens of thousands of people.
not realizing that what is actually happening is that they're getting your mailer and then going to your website.
Right, or you know what, being referred by an existing patient and typing in your name in Google in their phone and going to your Google business page and making their appointment from there. Right? Yeah. That's how you begin to love your, when we did our interviews of these dentists and they said, well, all this minutia, I hate that crap. Get that off my desk. Okay, fine. I want to keep it updated. but I don't want to think about it. I don't want to write it. I don't want to do it. Okay, fine. Okay, we'll take care of the check. But I want to know what it's doing for me. Like there's no way to judge it. Do I make another website? Do I update this one? Do I go with a different company? I don't have a clue if my prior investment in my website has even paid me back yet. Okay? That's the dashboard. Check, right? So those are what most dentists want is they want to have their storefront well maintained for them. Right? They don't want to be the guy or gal who cleans the glass, or the guy or gal that changes the window dressing, or the guy or gal who changes the departments inside the front windows. They don't want to do that stuff. They don't want to be the person who pays the lease on the rent of the storefront. Okay? They just want to be a dentist and take care of patients. So when we asked all the questions, all of those, like, what would make you happy with your website? Okay. It was like verbal vomit, right? It's like, here's all the reasons I hate my website. So we just kind of, assembled them all. And some of them we had to interpret because some of the responses we got were, kind of singular in focus, not global in application. But when we got down to the end of it, we said, well, what would really make dentists happy with their website is if it worked, if they knew what it was generating for them. In other words, the ROI was there. And if they didn't have to worry about any of the minutia and details involved with maintaining it. That's basically what most dentists want. Okay.
Pretty simple.
Pretty simple. Dang simple. Right. So that's how you love your website again. Your website is just sitting there ready to be loved.
Yes, it is. Well, we certainly thank you all for tuning in again with us, and we hope that we'll have you back here next time. All right? Bye now.
We hope you've enjoyed our podcast today. You can get all our podcasts on iTunes, Stitcher, and Libsyn.com, and on our websites newpatientsinc.com and npiclick.com.